The story begins at the engagement party of a girl named Danica. Her best friend Ava was there, along with Ava's ex-boyfriend Milo and Danica's fiancé Teddy. The four of them had been close friends since high school. After the engagement, they all decided to take a drive together. Along the way, they ran into another old friend, Stevie. Life had been rough on her since high school. Her father had disappeared with her college fund, leaving her to scrape by with small, odd jobs. Still, the group invited Stevie to come along for the ride. That day happened to be the 4th of July, and crowds of people were heading out to watch fireworks. At one point, Teddy stepped into the middle of the road, almost daring an oncoming car to hit him. At the last second, Milo lunged forward and yanked him out of the way. The others scolded Teddy for being so reckless. But then another car appeared. Swerving to avoid Teddy, the driver lost control and slammed into a roadside barrier. The car wobbled dangerously on the edge of a cliff. Everyone rushed forward, desperately trying to keep it from going over. Inside, the driver was still alive. But despite all their effort, the car slid off the edge and crashed into the ravine below. Ava and Stevie begged the others to help the victim, but Teddy pulled out his phone and dialed the police. He said he'd reported the accident and insisted they needed to leave immediately. Ava and Stevie argued, saying they couldn't just walk away, but the rest of the group climbed back into the car. On the way back, they even passed a police cruiser heading toward the crash site. Still, instead of staying, they drove straight to Teddy's house. There, Teddy assured them his father would take care of everything. All they had to do was keep quiet. After some hesitation, everyone agreed. Even Ava, though she was reluctant, was convinced to keep the secret. The story then jumps forward a year. Ava returns to their hometown, and at the airport, she meets a young woman named Tyler who happens to be heading to the same place. Since Ava is driving with Milo, she offers Tyler a ride. During the trip, Tyler explains she's there to work on her horror podcast, focusing on a brutal massacre that had taken place in the town back in 1997. Soon after, Ava and Milo arrive at Danica's bridal shower, where Stevie is also present. While opening her gifts, Danica comes across an envelope. Inside is a chilling note. "I know what you did last summer." Terrified, she tries to hide her fear, but when her fiancé appears, everyone is surprised. It isn't Teddy. Danica and Teddy had broken up, and now she suspects he sent the note as some kind of cruel prank. After all, no one else in the world knew about that terrible night. Concerned, Ava, Milo, and Stevie go to Teddy's boat to confront him. Teddy swears he has no idea what they're talking about. He didn't send the note and wants nothing to do with any of this. He tells them to leave, saying he already has enough problems with his father. That night, Danica feels uneasy as if someone is lurking outside her house. Just then, her new fiancé Wyatt sneaks up behind her and startles her. Later, Danica goes upstairs to take a bath, slipping on her headphones to relax while listening to music. Downstairs, the pool lights suddenly flicker on. Wyatt notices and walks closer to check. Just as suddenly, the lights shut off again. When he turns around, an arrow slams into him out of nowhere. Struggling to see in the darkness, he's struck by a second arrow. Moments later, a figure dressed in a fisherman's slicker appears and finishes him off with a brutal blow from a fishing hook. Upstairs, Danica hears none of it, her music drowning out the sounds. By the time she returns, Wyatt's body is laid out before her, with a terrifying message written nearby: "You can't erase the past." The group gathers at the police station where Teddy shows up too. His father has already spoken with the police chief, and they assign a patrol car to guard Danica's home. Inside, Ava finally opens up to Danica, admitting why she had been distant. She confesses that lying about the accident broke her. The guilt was too much to carry. By the next day, it's obvious someone is hunting them, though they still don't know who. Milo asks Ava about Tyler while Danica listens to Tyler's podcast. In it, Tyler explains that back in 1997, the town was stalked by a killer in a fisherman's slicker. He hunted down a group of teens after they themselves had committed a murder, and it all began with a single note. The group grows terrified. The same thing is happening again. Then, another unsettling truth comes out. Teddy's father erased every trace of the 1997 murders from the internet. He did it to protect the town's image and prevent investors from pulling out. Meanwhile, Tyler is out wandering around town recording for her podcast. Ava meets up with her, and Tyler takes her to Bayside House, explaining that this was where the fisherman killer had carried out one of his most gruesome attacks. She tells Ava that 30 years ago, a girl named Julie received the exact same kind of note. "I know what you did last summer." Hearing this, Ava starts to get suspicious. Could Tyler be the killer herself? But Tyler insists that Julie was actually one of the two survivors from back then, though she refuses to speak with her. Tyler hurries off to her next lead, while Ava quickly messages her friends, warning them that Tyler seems shady. But then, right before Ava's eyes, the fisherman killer suddenly appears, and it isn't Tyler. The killer lunges at Ava. Tyler tries to escape, but the doors are locked. Ava fights back desperately, but then a heavy cage drops down, trapping her inside. Tyler bolts, running for her life. The killer's real target, though, is her. By the time Ava forces her way out of the cage, it's too late. Tyler is dead. Stevie arrives just in time to help Ava, but both of them freeze in horror as the killer displays Tyler's lifeless body, dangling it right in front of them. Police arrive soon after, but everyone knows the truth. They're under Teddy's father's control, and all they'll do is cover things up. The scene shifts to Julie, the woman who lived through the nightmare in 1997. Even now, she's still haunted by it. Ava meets her and begs for help, explaining that the same thing is happening again. Two of their friends are already dead. She pleads with Julie, reminding her that she once survived this same horror. Julie takes Ava back to her home and explains that if history is repeating itself, then the killer must be someone connected to the boy who died in that accident. But Ava admits she knows nothing about him. There's no information online, and with the police covering everything up, answers are impossible to find. Julie leaves her with just one warning: find the killer before he finds you. Meanwhile, Teddy's father Grant and the police chief declare Tyler's death a suicide. They say she was mentally unstable, but Milo and Ava refuse to believe it. They argue that this isn't an isolated incident. Danica's fiancé had been murdered, Ava herself was attacked, and now Tyler is gone. At that moment, another figure enters. Ray, the second survivor from 1997. He tells them all that what happened before is happening again, but Grant still refuses to listen. He insisted the police department would keep everyone safe and announced that the church would remain open as a sanctuary for the community. Pastor Judah himself urged everyone to come to the church, promising a special prayer for their protection. The story then shifts to Stevie, who was working at Ray's bar. There, the group confided everything to Ray. It was then they learned the truth. Julie was actually Ray's ex-wife. Following Ray's advice, they began searching for information about the boy who had died in the accident, Sam Cooper. Their first step was finding out whose car Sam had been driving that night. At the office, officials asked them for the license plate number. Thinking quickly, Ava pretended she had lost the paperwork when her brother was in an accident on the 4th of July the year before. Milo added that it had been a pickup truck and asked them to check if anyone had registered a similar vehicle around that time. That's when they discovered the truck belonged to Pastor Judah. Meanwhile, Danica and Teddy went to the cemetery to look for Sam Cooper's grave. There they also saw the graves of those killed in 1997. Danica even came across an old photograph of a girl named Helen. At Sam's grave, fresh flowers had been left, proof that someone who knew him had been there recently. Danica asked the security guard about it and he went inside to check the CCTV footage. But before he could return, the killer struck, murdering him. When Teddy went in after waiting too long, the killer slipped past him and went straight for Danica. She ran, escaping into a warehouse where she tried to hide. The killer found her and was about to strike when Teddy suddenly appeared. The killer retreated into the shadows. Back at Julie's home, her security system detected motion outside. Armed with scissors, she crept toward the door, but it wasn't the killer, it was Ray. He confronted her, demanding to know why she had told Ava to go looking for the killer. Ray said that one of the girls working at his bar was part of their group and didn't deserve what was happening. Just then, Ava and Stevie called, pulling the focus back to the group of friends. They gathered at Danica's house for safety, but when Stevie had to leave for her bar shift, Danica insisted no one else should sleep alone. That meant Ava and Milo ended up sharing a room. Inside, the two grew close and nearly became intimate. But when Ava whispered, "Punish me, just listen," Milo froze. Disturbed, he pulled away and left the room. Sitting alone in his car, Milo tried to psych himself up. "You can do this," he muttered, finally gathering his courage. Just as he stepped out, the killer struck. A rope tightened around his neck, choking him until he was dead. From the window, Ava saw Milo's car driving away, and moments later, a text came from his phone. "I just need some time." The next day, Ava and Danica went to the church to confront Pastor Judah, but he wasn't there. Danica used the chance to sneak into his private room while Ava distracted him when he returned. Inside, Danica searched through his things and found a photograph of Judah with Sam Cooper. Suddenly, Judah walked in. Danica hid inside the closet, barely breathing until he left. Afterward, both Ava and Danica rushed to the police chief, insisting that Judah was the killer. But instead of helping, the chief reported everything back to Grant. He dismissed the girls as hysterical, and Grant ordered they be kept at the police station for a while. The scene shifts to Teddy, who was relaxing in a steam bath when he heard noises outside. On the glass before him, someone had written, "You are next." Doors began slamming shut on their own. As Teddy stepped out to investigate, the killer ambushed him from behind. With a knife, the fisherman in the slicker stabbed him repeatedly. Teddy fought back with everything he had, crawling desperately toward his house for safety. Inside, his father Grant sat listening to music, unaware of what was happening outside. Fireworks lit up the sky as, on the lawn, the killer dragged Teddy's broken body. Just then the doorbell rang. Grant opened the door to find his son, drenched in blood, collapsing at his feet. In that moment, the killer struck again, murdering Grant right on his own doorstep. Later, Danica thought she heard a voice outside. When she stepped out, she saw a girl holding a fishing hook, and Wyatt's lifeless body lying before her. Looking closer, she realized it was Helen, one of the girls from the 1997 group. Helen hissed, "You killed Sam Cooper. Now your fiancé is dead. You'll be next." She transformed into a ghost and attacked Danica, who suddenly jolted awake. It had all been a nightmare. Meanwhile, chaos erupted at the police station. The killer had hung Grant and Teddy's bodies in public for the entire town to see. Ray told the 3 surviving girls they had to escape immediately. But as they tried to flee, Ava discovered Milo's corpse stuffed inside his car. With no other choice, the 3 of them stole Teddy's boat and fled. At the same time, police stormed the church searching for Pastor Judah, only to find him already dead. One officer noticed a photo showing Sam Cooper, Judah, and Stevie together. The realization hit. Stevie had been the real killer all along. Stevie then attacked Danica and Ava, finally revealing her face and confessing. She admitted she had been in love with Sam Cooper. He was on his way to pick her up in Judah's truck the night of the accident. Judah knew the truth but took hush money from Grant to stay quiet, so Stevie killed him too. When she learned Sam had been the one in the car that went off the cliff, her world collapsed. At first she thought about ending her own life, but instead decided everyone else would pay. When Ava tried to grab a flare and scream for help, Stevie turned on her. Danica fought back and Ray arrived on the boat to help. But Stevie pressed her hook to Danica's throat and in a single move killed her. Ray shouted at Stevie, demanding why she hadn't come to him for help. Then he pulled out a gun and shot her dead. Afterward, Ava called Julie to tell her Stevie had been the killer. Julie tried searching Stevie's name but couldn't believe it, panicking as she fled. Meanwhile, Ava stayed at Ray's bar. That's when she noticed a wound on Ray's hand, the same spot she had slashed the killer during Tyler's murder. Terror set in. Ava tried to leave but the door was locked. Ray smirked, admitting she already knew the truth. He lunged at her, trying to finish the job. Ava smashed a window in a desperate attempt to escape, but Ray wouldn't let her go. She fought back and just then Julie arrived to help. She saw Ava badly injured while Ray stepped out, smiling. "Happy 4th of July, Julie," he sneered. The truth came out. Stevie had asked Ray to help her with her revenge. Furious that the town had buried the truth of 1997, Ray carried out the fisherman killings with her. He snarled that he would frame Julie as the real killer, claiming she never got over 1997 and had committed all the murders herself. But before he could finish, Ava, on Julie's command, fired a crossbow and struck Ray down. At the same time, Danica, who had barely survived, crawled to the pier, clinging to life. Days later, both Ava and Danica were shown recovering in the hospital. And with that, the story comes to an end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of the exciting content coming your way. Every new video is made with you in mind, and I'd love to have you here for the journey. See you in the next one.